Sketch from China. Hey, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the Wicked Gamer and Collector. So in today's video we are going to talk about the Retroid game handheld, or the handheld game station. This is the second edition, or the third. Nevertheless, there are quite some different versions out there, but this is the revision with a lot of big improvements. Or that is what we're going to hope with this. Nevertheless, let's take a close look at the device and how is the quality now. Alright, so let's take a close look at the device itself for the people who are not familiar with the product. So we're having here the D-pad, analog stick, 6 buttons, and we're having here home, select and start. Here at the side we're having the on and off switch, and at the top we're finding this little compartment where we can put our SD card, micro USB for charging, we're having AV out, and here we have an output for HDMI out. Here at the right side we're finding volume control, and at the back we're having nothing. So a lot of people did complain about the D-pad, and they kind of fixed it. So the layout, or better said the D-pad, the bottom itself, it's a little bit differently as you can see over here, and it plays way better. But still, it's more like this clickies D-pad, and if you compare it with different devices I've reviewed, it's not the best D-pad out there. The same goes for the buttons. Still have these very clickies buttons, and that is something we need to live with. The analog stick is more like this very cheap wiggly stick, and we're going to try it in the games if this is any good. Alright, so let's power it on, let's hold the on and off button, and it's going to boot up and give us the Retroid Pocket loading screen. It is very well protected, so for shipment it is going to be very good. Here we have this little screen protector that you're going to get free, and it will help you protecting the glass that is in front of this little me machine. As you can see, there is nothing in here because all the peripherals are in here. What are we going to get? We're only going to get this micro USB cable. No HDMI, because you need to get it yourself. Finally, receiving the product, I was so excited because I wanted to see it for myself. We're having the dual boot system, so we're having this, let's say, layout like your phone or tablet, and we're having the dual boot. And the dual boot, I mean the layout that we had in the previous model. But sadly, receiving, powering it on, noticing that there are quite some different apps that we're going to talk about just a little bit later. I did notice there is no dual boot. So I contacted the seller, and guess again, there is no dual boot because you need to download it and add it yourself. Just want to point it out that you need to know. The question remains, what are we going to get? So you can navigate through the menu with the D-pad, and when you're holding the home button, you can switch to navigating with the little mouse with the analog stick. I really like it, or it works very well. But if you're looking at, for example, the apps, we're having here Classic Boy. Sadly, it's not a full, let's say in full edition, it's in demo. So you can just use it with all the emulators included. But what I understand of, it's pretty damn old, so not everything will run perfectly. So here we have all the other stuff. For example, Mega Drive, Dreamcast, PSP and 64. But keep in mind, PSP and Dreamcast, little spoiler alert, it will not run perfectly because it's a very underpowered device. When going here, just like with your phone, we have all the files that we are going to need, including RetroArch. Nevertheless, for no further ado, let's talk about the games and let's just play some. Let's see how they are running. I can say that playing around with it for some time now, it doesn't get any better than this. Realizing the device itself is just underpowered. And I think if you want to play PSP, there are different ways to do so. Retroid is not the way to go. Alright, let's see how Mega Drive is running. I must say the D-pad itself plays way better than the previous model. And the clickies button are not that bad. But what you can see, there are quite some different programs on it, and not all are very good. Alright, so I wanted to give you a small demo of the Sega Dreamcast. If you matched up with a different emulator, it is possible that you can just get it working a little bit better. But when I received the handheld itself, I had a big quality issue because my SD card was stuck in the device. There was something not right and I needed to open it up. So I'm thinking, you know what, let's record it and let's do a teardown so I can show you what's inside the device. There was a fellow YouTuber already made a review about it, but I just wanted to also see it for myself. Getting it open is not a big issue because we're having basically 4 parkers in each corner that we need to disassemble or remove, and then let's say the rest of the casing is clicked together. So that's the only thing that we need to do, and that is something that we're going to do. Okay, so when opened up, this is what we're going to get. And the back, we're finding the 4000 milliamp battery. It's just a basic battery that you're going to get from AliExpress, for example. It's not that special. So if you need a new one, it's a little bit tricky to find on AliExpress, but at the end, it is possible to find one with the right connector. Okay, before we're going to remove the main board, we are going to remove the connector for the battery because it makes it more convenient. So this device, it can get more basic than this. A plastic case, some buttons and a main board. So we're having here the MediaTek 6580 quad core that is running on 1.5 GHz. Combination with a Mali 400 MP2, and this thing has 512 MB RAM. It's a little bit less than previous handhelds I have reviewed sometimes. 512, the thing needs at least 1 or maybe 2 GB of internal storage. But when I removed the SD card and everything put together, as you can see, I already have a small quality issue, and that is something that is a little bit of a bummer for a very expensive handheld, if you ask me. But just wanted to show you. Of course, we're having a RetroArch, and it's a great program, but you need to get some knowledge about it if you want to reconfigure everything. So that is something I just want to point out, and the reason I'm making this video as it is, I just wanted to show you what you're going to get out of the box. I can show you all the fancy stuff this thing can do, but at the end, when you're getting this and you're not getting the same results, you will be disappointed, of course, because you are thinking, hey, I'm buying this thing that Wicked has, and at the end it doesn't come with the same stuff. But let's take a close look at both systems. Maybe you already own one of these systems. They think, hey, I already have the old version. Is it worth upgrading to the new one? In short, no, not really. They did improve some minor things. For example, the D-pad is finally a little bit better. But at the end, it's still both clicky D-pads, and I don't like it. I want to have the old school membrane D-pad, for example with a retro game or a retro game system in general. So if you look at the displays itself, so what I understand of the displays, they are using the exactly same IPS version. They look beautiful and there is seriously nothing to complain about this. But they do improve this little plastic front casing. What I understand that this is more like the plastic that can scratch very easily, and this more like the Gorilla Glass. You know, so nevertheless, and it also had a little bit of problem of that when it's getting really hot, that it's going to have some screen issues with the old one. Didn't have them, as you can see, I'm using this thing for quite some time now and didn't have any problems. So with the old version, you're going to get this old school Pandora 3D, just going to call it Pandora 3D Saga menu. I really loved it. So when you look at it, it's very easy to use, and it feels like that he basically slapped a Pandora box inside this little plastic machine. And that is something I really liked about it. Very convenient, very easy to use, having these previews. I like it. With the new version, so they use this open Android version. What is very convenient about it, that you can add your own apps. So when you're connecting it to the Play Store with your account, be careful, because an older Android version and the security is not the best. So just keep it in mind. You can download, and keep in mind again, you need to buy most of the apps. And then you can, let's say, add new applications and get better performance at the end. But you need to buy them. Regarding the dual boot, I did spoke with the seller, and they said that normally you're going to get the dual boot and you can choose between the open Android and this mini Pandora menu. But I didn't get it, I only get the open Android version. Okay, so what are we going to get with this out of the box? we are going to get this open Android. I didn't get the dual boot, maybe they will fix it in the future. If you look at the quality, this is not the best quality handheld you can get. The plastic casing, as you can see, I already have a minor problem with it that it doesn't close anymore. Maybe you can fix it in the future, but still, this is something I just needed to show you. If you look at the apps itself are not the best. They're just old crappy apps. So what you need to do is very simple. Not getting the dual boot software. No, you need to go to the online app store, download and buy the apps yourself. Some are free, some you need to buy. That's all up to you. But I just wanted to show what you're going to get out of the box. And if you're not having the technical know-how, that you know how to install apps and play games, etc., etc., I think this is not a handheld you want to have. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, and it's not a big improvement over the last one. So this is what you're going to get. If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, channel, hit the little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will do some more testing in the future. Yes. See you next time.